SLU Plus is an augmented reality map of St. Louis University, meaning it uses the objects and buildings of SLU's campus and adds a layer of information and interactivity on top of that and uses it as its user interface. And this is a demo of some of its main features. So right here we are standing in the middle of Tegler Field, just kind of looking around at some of the markers I've placed around campus. And you'll see some of them clump up right there, and that's because there's just a bunch of markers in a close proximity in that direction. So if you tap that range button in the upper left-hand corner, you can adjust the range to include all of the places. So if you want to explore places you don't know, or if you can also limit it to places within a certain distance from you if you only want to see what is near you. And I think that's the context that most users will use this app, because they'll want to know what's right in front of them and more about it. So I'm just going to walk you through a few of the places that I've marked to get a sense of what the app can do and the kind of locations I tagged. And so this is a statue called the Bather. It's right by Tegler Field. And you can see you click the icon right hovering over it to display more information about it and about the artist. And then there's a more info tab. And this one leads to a Wikipedia page about the artist. So in those more info tabs, I tried to include different kinds of information depending on the place. For example, this airplane the more info tab will point you to the Parks College website and the About section of it to learn more about the history of Parks that I couldn't include all directly in the description of the marker. This is another statue right by Parks College. Some of these descriptions about the statues or the people they represent or the artists get kind of long, so I'm whipping through them, but if you are interested in their stories, go ahead and just watch the video again, but slow down through these sections. That's another example of a more info. It links to a New York Times article, obviously, about the person represented. There are also some random markers placed around campus to coincide with some of the random things of our campus that nobody knows a whole lot about. For example, these bells. Another cool part of the app is that you can take a picture in the app and send it to a friend in a text message, which is what I show in here. You can send it in an email, you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, other social media, right from the app. Hopefully in future releases of the app, I'd like to include those pictures right in the app, like in the more info section of markers or in the descriptions of the markers, so that you could see what other pictures people take at those locations. I think that would be pretty cool. This is another marker on a statue. You might notice this marker and some other ones jumping around the screen a little bit. I don't think that's a problem with the app itself because the locations are hard-coded into the app. I think the issue comes from the app constantly requesting the device's location and the phone's location services constantly handing that off between Wi-Fi and network, trying to pinpoint the location. I know I roll through these descriptions pretty quickly. It's just, again, I'd encourage you guys to go back and read them at some point. I certainly learned a lot writing them, and I think there's some cool information about SLU in them. Then this more info tab links to the clock tower records on SLU's website. Xavier Hall houses SLU's theater department, so this more information link redirects to the theater department's website, which shows what is playing at the university theater and show times and stuff like that. Then we have the mysterious Xavier Hall Annex, which is actually really cool. The Instructional Media Center is in there, which they actually have a virtual reality headset in there that nobody really knew about. But this more information tab links to the IMC for more information about what they have. But check it out because technology is cool. Then we have DeMatteis Hall, which couldn't really get the marker to line up super well on this one, but interesting information about this one. Used to be a convent, which you can still see if you go in there today, like the chapel and confessional areas. Also haunted, so that's cool. So that brings us to the last object in this demo, which is a statue right next to DMAT. I couldn't find a whole lot of concrete information about this statue, so I felt inclined to provide my own interpretation of it. And I'd like there to be a way for students to submit their own interpretations for statues or art around campus. That concludes this demo of SLU Plus. It is an Android app in this video. I created it using the Wikitude software development kit. So it's written in JavaScript and HTML, so it would be easily ported to iOS. So hopefully I'll have an iPhone version of it soon.